Talking of animated shows,
Yes, lots of animated shows.
week one of the new Vox Machina series dropped.
Yes, season 2.
So I never watched Critical Role.
hmm
It's never been my thing. I might try and get into it at some point, but I kind of stream at awkward hours and stuff. And I wouldn't rewatch stuff because then I think it just would be even more,
It's
I don't know, tiring.
also a big undertaking.
Yeah, exactly. However, when season one came out, whenever the fuck it was now, and you
Last year.
mentioned it, I was like, I'll give it a go because D&D as a concept is really cool to me.
hmm
And I am a big believer that with the way D&D is structured, if it's recorded properly, you can turn it into phenomenal content via live action or animated or whatever, just because of the natural shenanigans that occur in D&D.
Yep.
So you told me the show's coming, so I was like, okay, I'll give it a watch. Phenomenal show. I loved season one.
hmm
So when you let me know last week that season two was coming, I was very excited to get going.
I have watched all of the campaign 1. I've watched like half of campaign 2, which we'll talk about later on in the episode today. But
Yeah.
yeah, for like you're saying, watching the live show, I saw a really good interview from the Critical Role guys that actually summed it up really well because they asked them like, okay, for someone who hasn't watched any of your live show or anything, should they go watch the live show first before watching animated or watch the animated? Like how and straight away Taliesin, who is Percy,
Yeah.
was just like, oh no, just watch the animated.
Yeah.
It was
It
like,
condenses all the funny stuff down because, like, an encounter in
yes.
D&D can take hours, can't it?
Well, yeah. It can like
And
one
they cut it
fight.
down into like a 5-minute segment, and you get all of the excitement all in one go.
Yeah. The way what was it? The way Taliesin, he said, watch the animated is like if the live show is like the world's longest director's cut.
Yes, that's such a good way to
Yeah,
describe it.
and I was like, that's exactly it. And it's like, sure, if you watch the animated and you really want to go watch it, feel free. It's there, but there is hours of content to get through.
Yeah.
You're, in my opinion, you're better off just trying to get caught up on the new campaign 3 if you want to watch the live.
Yeah. It's like reading a 1,000-page book versus watching a 2-hour film. Yes,
Yeah.
you're going to get extra stuff from the book that
Well,
you're
yeah.
like, wow, that's brilliant, blah, 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 blah. But watching the 2-hour film, if it's done right, is going to give you the bits that are important. Like, you can tell it's based on D&D because a lot of it, especially in the action,
hmm
isn't stuff that would happen if it was just written as a script.
Yes,
Like,
there is little moments where,
yeah,
obviously in
like,
D&D you have critical fails and things go wrong and things you want to do don't work, and they write that into the show. They keep true to it, obviously.
yeah,
So
like,
the thing I would say is, if you watch the animated and you want to know more about the live show of it, people have already started putting together comparisons of moments from the animated versus what happened in the live show. Just watch
I
them.
mean, the big one I can't remember if I mentioned it last week or after the podcast last week, but the big one I noticed was Hori said to me that during campaign one they had a lot of issues with doors,
Mm-hmm.
and I noticed like while watching the first season they're trying to get into a castle or a building at some point and they can't get the door to fucking open,
Yeah.
and I'm there like I can imagine, even though I'm watching this and everyone voices their character as well because they're all actors, it's brilliant. I'm just sat there like I can imagine how frustrating it would be, all of them just rolling these fucking dice, desperately trying to get this door
Yep.
open. And it's funny because the scene ends up being like 3 or 4 minutes that isn't needed for the story at all. You could 100% cut that 4 minutes out, but it's a
Oh,
big part of the campaign.
yeah, and just the
So
characters.
it makes it, that's the kind of stuff that wouldn't normally be in a show like
Oh,
this.
100%. So,
And I think that's part of the reason I love it so much because it feels organic because it was.
yeah. So yeah, we're into season 2 started. We got the first 3 episodes. They're doing the same thing where they drop it in chunks. And it opens with the introduction to the Chroma Conclave, which is all the
Yes.
dragons.
Which was badass, by the way. The animation for that is phenomenal.
That was, I think, I watched a thing where there was a bit of a breakdown, one of the animators, and he was just like, this was probably the most difficult episode of the first, like, one of this season, because there's so much goes on.
Yeah, it was a phenomenal animation. They should be very, very proud of themselves. It looked just mind-meltingly good.
There was so obviously I don't want to make because I've seen the comment. I don't want to make any
Yeah,
spoilers, but put it this way: the Chroma Conclave is now the main villain for the next 2 seasons. So we're going to
phenomenal.
be dealing with these dragons for a while. Um, and obviously, like how it played out in the show is pretty much exactly as Matt was like narrating it. Because obviously, Matt was narrating as DM. Is like, as the ice dragon came in and blew up the tower, and everything starts going like, and it's so well done, and in a sense that like shows that do fantasy, whenever they do a dragon, it's a fire breathing dragon. Or in D&D, different colored dragons have different breath types. So
Okay, cool. So
ice,
that is a proper D&D thing. That's not a
yes,
homebrew thing.
no. So green dragons, it's the gas, the one that was doing all the gas.
Hmm.
The black is poison or like acid. Ice obviously does ice and fire. Um, so yeah, it's very cool getting to see it in an animated sense like that. There was a really cool moment that, like you were saying about the things that go wrong, when Grog goes to hit the red dragon and his axe shatters.
Yes,
Um,
that's a critical failure. Nat one roll.
that wasn't a crit fail. So what
Oh,
that's
wasn't it?
showing off is obviously these dragons are going on and everything's going mental, and it gets to a point where it's like the red dragon lands there. So off the rip, Grog just goes, "I fucking attack it," and he rolls, gets a 19 to hit. He's like 19 to hit, like proper confident. Uh, and then Matt's just like, you run, leap, and oh no, he's like oh well, how is it? I think it was as simple as he's there. He's like 19 to hit, confident, and Matt just goes misses with like this straight dead face, and you just see um Grog's like his face just go, wait, what? A 90 minute? Because at this point, they hadn't really dealt with an enemy this big.
Yeah.
So suddenly they're like, oh shit, we're not as strong as we think we are. This
Well,
isn't
yeah, because you've
good.
got like the whole leveling process in D&D as
Well,
well.
yeah. Um, so yeah, there's that realization of, oh fuck. And the way they do it in the animated is like he goes to hit it and his axe just explodes to show that like he just can't hit this thing. Um, but yeah, first episode was crazy, seeing all the dragons. I'm trying to remember. Episode 2 was when they went to Vasselheim, I think,
Yes.
which is the religious city. Which obviously, again, I saw that and I'm like, oh, I know what's coming up here. And we
Yeah.
get a fun moment, a fun split of the party where Grog gets distracted.
I'm just gonna say it, and people are gonna start sense a theme here. Grog and Wrecker,
Yes.
funny. I don't know what it is. It only seems to happen for me in animated shows. The big, lovable, stupidly strong idiot is one of my favorite stereotypes in shows. I love it so much.
Well, the reason Travis played Grog as stupid was he rolled his stats for Grog and he had one that he rolled terribly on. So he was like, fuck it, I'll put it in intelligence. I'm being a barbarian. It doesn't matter. So then he just got to play, and he played like throughout the whole campaign, like he plays that character. Like you gotta remember, someone who is like obviously not that stupid, like trying to play yourself down in a comedic and like
Yeah.
doing it in such a comedic way of like timing on things.
Well, you got to remember because like that the guy might understand what's about to happen, but
Yeah,
his character doesn't. And if he's going to play the game faithfully, he has to think like his character. So yes, I might understand that if my character does this, that's a bad fucking idea. He's a dumbass. He doesn't understand that. He will do that.
exactly.
And that, like, I mean, that's such an impressive skill to be able to do. But the voice acting for Grog is phenomenal.
Oh yeah, I love his voice for Grog. Um, so yeah, we get to see Grog goes to the
The
um,
super jacked old man.
yeah, he goes to the temple of the Fundalor. Fundalor.
Yeah, Thunder
I
Lords.
think it is Fundalords. And he meets Earthbreaker Groom, which was so fun to see that interaction animated.
I can imagine that was a lot of bad rolls as well.
So it was a mix of bad roles and just how Matt was playing it. So like, if you picture that episode, so he starts talking to him, and then it's like before he starts asking him where's his strength come from, and before he's even said anything, he does that thing where he dashes forward and like elbows him in the gut, and like Grog's character goes flying back. What happened in the live game was he's explaining Earthbreaker Groom, and then he's like, Matt goes, "Where does your strength come from?" And Travis is there thinking as Grog, and then he goes, "Before you even do anything, Earthbreaker slight flash of lightning is in front of you, elbows you in the stomach," and then Travis is like, "Wait, what? I've been hit? Like, what? This isn't gonna happen." And then obviously Matt was asking him every time, like, "Where does your strength come from?" And Travis is like, uh, um, "My rage." And then note smacked again. He's like, "Fuck." My heart, note smacked again. And it's like, "Oh, I can't work this out." And
I
that's,
really enjoyed in the show, and he goes, "You want me to say something stupid like my
yeah,
muscles?" And I'm like, "No, that would be the smart person's like
yeah,
stupid answer, not the dumb person's
yeah.
smart answer."
It's so well done. And just like watching him get beaten. But this isn't the last, like, this is the first of a few times he has interactions with Earthbreaker Groom. Um, but yeah, I loved
This,
getting to watch that.
yeah. Then you had the other group who went to meet the Sphinx.
Yeah, the Slayer's take.
The Sphinx looked awesome.
Yes.
I've
Uh,
never seen something so majestic and so intimidating at the same time.
so well done. And I remember when they first met that in the live game, and they obviously weren't expecting it, like, the Sphinx is so cool. And the way, because obviously like Matt explained, like in the live show, I remember Matt like explaining to each character what was going on, but like to visually see them like get put through these like hallucinations and stuff was really cool to see, and getting to watch like every different way that they did it.
I really enjoyed Scantlan's hallucination, because obviously he's always like a big personality because he wants to be the center of attention. So the Sphinx is going, "No one gives a fuck about you, so I don't either." Was like,
Yeah.
holy
Yeah.
shit, that is a critical hit if ever I saw one.
I'd have to go back and watch like a comparison, but it wouldn't surprise me if Matt had gone round everyone. So then Sam was like, "Okay, what's he gonna do for Scanlan?" And then he just goes, "No, you don't deserve anything." And he was probably like,
It just and the thing is, it works so good for the character as well, because yeah, he's the loud bard who has sex with everything he can get near.
yeah,
So just no one giving him attention is just perfect.
it really is. Yeah, the whole Sphinx, and then we got introduced to this idea of they've got to go get the vestiges of divergence, which become a
D&D
big,
does have some wacky names, by the way.
basically, um, just to, if you weren't fully, they're really powerful magical items, and essentially, what their whole thing now is like throughout the rest of the campaign. Obviously, lots of other stuff happens, but they pick one and they start trying to find it, and then they get one, and it's a bunch of items that some very
Power
cool
leveling,
items.
essentially.
Yeah, it's to help them out. So that's going to be really cool. And we got introduced to Cassandra. Is it Cassandra and Cash?
No, it's not Cassandra.
No,
It's
it's
Cash and I forget her
oh
name.
yeah, I can't remember her name, but they were guests on the live show,
Oh,
so they're
were they?
voiced by the same people, getting to
Oh,
like
okay. So
voice
they
their
weren't
own.
NPCs.
No, so they were characters that were guests and were on for a few episodes.
That's cool.
Yeah, so
So did Matt kind of like give them their intentions of like trying, or did they just turn up and were like, "You can cause chaos if you want to. If you want to be helpful, go for it. If you want to be
so
difficult and assholes, go for it."
I think Matt would have been like, okay, your characters can be whatever they want, like however you want them styled and personality wise, but they are part of the Slayer's take, and I think that's how he set them up. And like, you're part of this group, and it probably explains to them like you're gonna help them on finding the first item. It's like a way to introduce them in. But like, I could be wrong, but I think they were the first guests on
The
Critical Role, because
Okay,
by
so have
this
we got a
point,
lot more of them to come?
There's a
even
lot
if it's not
other
necessarily in this
guest
campaign?
yeah, they show up some more, and obviously we get in the live show there was more guests because it got to a point with the live show, it was getting so much traction and was becoming a talking point amongst the voice actors. So everyone started to learn about, oh, there's this D&D session that Matt runs with like Travis and Laura and all like they all play D&D and so then they were like, I want to come on. I want to play. So
I'm
Matt
a
started
voice
having
actor.
them
I like D&D, and this is a brilliant way for me to shaft my voice acting with thousands
literally.
of eyes.
So they obviously started having guests on. But that's where they came from. And they obviously went and did this tomb, which, did you notice? They struggled with a door again.
Yeah. I did notice earlier on, I can't remember what episode it was on, a door randomly just like opened at the perfect time and it like saved all their lives. And they're like, the first time a door's been useful. And I was like, that's
I
funny.
I think it wouldn't surprise me. I can't really remember, but it wouldn't surprise me if it was like they rolled perfectly or something and
Yeah.
like it just opened.
But my favorite one was Grog going to open the door and pulling on it. And he's like, that's a push, buddy.
Yeah. That was a
Brilliant.
case of, I think, he went to open it, it was locked, and they probably rolled to strengthen, and then it was like, no, it's a pull. Just pull it.
It's just funny. It's so funny.
But yeah,
But yeah.
the first 3 episodes were great. We got introduced to the big bad. We got.
I do have one burning question.
Okay.
Is Vex dead?
Oh God, yeah, the end of the episode 3.
Yeah.
So I knew
Because
that.
I know characters can die in D&D, but it was so like I'm trying to think of like a comparison. You know, like Orange is the New Black when Pusey dies, and it just comes out of fucking nowhere, and you're like, wait, what the fuck? That's what happened. I was like, so is Pike gonna heal her, or is she dead? And then we start getting flashbacks of them as children.
Once they were in the tomb, I knew this was coming, and I was just like, oh no. I obviously don't want to give off spoilers, but like this episode we got, and this is how it was playing out in the count. This is how they were playing their characters. Vex and Vax were like being a bit like sibling kind of not love, like kind of hate, getting annoyed at each other sort of thing.
Yeah.
We saw that, and they were showing it off in the animated, like what they were going through. So we will get, like, you got that in the live show, getting to experience them playing their characters like that. And then yeah, so what happens with the tomb is Percy's touched it, which set off a trap.
Yeah.
Of which I think they rolled a saving throw, and I can't remember exactly, and I think Percy succeeded and Vex didn't, which is why it hit her. And what we saw right at the end is Pike can't heal her because there's two ways of dying in D&D.
Yeah.
When you get to 0 hit points, you don't. People say, "Oh, I'm down or I'm dead." Technically, you're just unconscious, and then you have like you roll 3 times, and if you get over a 10, it's a success. Under a 10, it's a fail. If you get 3 fails, you die. If you get 3 successes, you come back to 1 hit point. What happens there is, if you're in that state, you can be healed out of it. So if you're unconscious, you can just get healed. You get your hit points back. You wake up and you're like, I'm alive. What happened was Pike couldn't heal because Vex had died.
Shit.
So we will now see what plays out from that.
So I imagine a new character with a very similar voice is going to be rocking up from the not too distant future.
We'll wait and see.
My name is Mex. I am your long lost older sister.
I'm your long lost triplet. No, I won't spoil anything, but
that came out of nowhere and hit me like a sledgehammer. And I sat there, I was like, is she dead? Is she dead? Why are we seeing flashbacks of them as a child? She's not dead, right?
So I knew it was coming. And obviously, like the whole point where they're like, the opening tune, I'm like, no, don't. And even though I know what's going to happen, I'm like, Percy, no. Just don't. Percy, why?
Percy, don't touch it, you dick.
I didn't expect them to end the episode there. That's what caught me off guard. I was like, oh shit, you're leaving people really wanting more. um, but yeah, you'll see probably in the next episode what happens or what goes on. Um,
I don't
there,
know. Depending on how they want to run it, they might. I'm making the assumption as someone who hasn't seen the campaign. In D&D, if someone's character dies, they normally just make a new character, is my understanding.
yes,
I'm gonna assume that we get an episode where the characters get to mourn before we get the replacement.
we'll wait and see. You'll be able to watch it tomorrow or as you're listening to this episode today. And
Yeah.
but yeah, first 3 episodes, brilliant. I'm so excited to have more and getting to watch because like watching it live, like the live show, and now getting to see it in animated is just like so satisfying's not quite the right word, but like getting to see it be animated is just brings a whole new light to it and life to it.
One thing I will say is once Quark gets his beard,
Oh, Grog gets his beard.
big Kratos vibes.
So, fun thing with that, he obviously gets the belt.
Yeah, and you have to like roll to see what he's gonna do, and he rolls really badly.
No, so they grabbed all those magical items and just shoved them in the bag, and then they go through them. So far, they've only gone through. Well, Grog put the belt on. It is the belt of dwarven kind.
Okay.
So it gives you like increased stats with it, but then there's a sub thing that's like whoever wears this instantly grows a luscious dwarven beard.
I really want Kaylee to wear it at some point. Kelly,
Keyleth, the one
Keyleth.
with
Thank
the
you.
antlers.
Yeah. I really want her to wear it at some point.
Well, what happens is obviously Grog being a low intelligence character was like, holy shit, I can grow a beard now. This is amazing. And becomes extremely attached to his beard.
Yes.
As we saw briefly when like a little bit gets cut off and he's like, no. There's some shenanigans that happen with the beard.
I can imagine.
And I can't wait for those to get animated because there's
I can only imagine it's shit like I forget his name, Trevor, who's playing Grog.
Travis.
It has a lot of fun with the beard, and as a result of that, other people in the party are like, I've got to get rid of that fucking beard.
Not to give spoilers, but let's just say a bit of a prank war starts.
I love it so much.
So yeah, there's gonna be some shenanigans that get animated, and I can't wait for them. They're gonna be great.
Yeah, it's gonna be really fun. But yeah, when he had that beard because he has like his lines and then the blood was on his face, I was like,
no, it is.
That is proper Kratos vibes right there.
It is proper Kratos vibes.
And I'm curious to see what comes of the blood sword that is definitely altering his mind while he's using it. That's gonna be a fun one.
So it's not necessarily altering his mind. It's a sentient sword.
Also, it's like possessing him.
It's talking to him, and because he's wielding it, it wants something, but it's like it kept asking. It's saying it's hungry.
Yeah, and he went and got drunk.
Well, yeah, this is the funny thing. A low intelligence character has a sword talking to them. They can't understand that. So it's just like it was the perfect. Matt knew what he was doing, like having that sword there and be a thing. Like he knew who was going to use it, and it does lead to some hilarious moments that I honestly can't wait to be animated. It's honestly, this season 2 is going to be great. It's going to be great.